Hey guys, I've been getting a couple questions on how I do renders, so I thought I'd do a quick video and go over that, as well as uploading the images onto like Workplace or Facebook. So really quick, just off the bat, you want to make sure that your document resolution is up to what it should be. So mine's at 2500 by height of 1500. So over here you can zoom out. You can see it's pretty high. I use a 1440p monitor, but when I'm working at a lower resolution on my Cintiq, it's a little bit lower. So you just want to set that to actual when you're actually sculpting, and then when you want to do some renders, you can zoom out and change the resolution, all that. When you do this, go ahead and you set that, and it'll ask you if you are sure. Click resize, hit yes, and then your canvas is going to turn all weird. So you want to hit Control N to clear your canvas, drag out with the mouse again, and then hit T to enter edit again. So pretty simple for that. The other thing that you're going to need to do is in your document, I believe, yeah, so under range, this is your background. So sometimes ZBrush will have a default of like a weird gradient like this. I like mine flat, so I just set it to 0. When you do the renders, you want to set that to 0 for a similar reason, because we're going to be deleting that background. There might be a better way to do it. If there is, just let me know. I'd love to know, but this is how I do it right now. Yeah, so you can pick a material. I'm using a material from Jason Martin. Shows things pretty well. So I'm going to turn perspective on for this, so you don't get anything weird and like oddly distorted. Under draw, you can change the field of view to something a little bit more normal, like 28. That helps out quite a bit. All right, so now we're pretty much ready to render. I'm going to show you my settings really quick. So under, let's see, render, I believe. There we go. Drag that over. So under render paths, we'll fill this in a little bit. But under shadow, these are my settings right now. The reason I do this is the BPR render isn't always the best render, but I want to have at least smooth shadows and kind of fill in some areas and give it a little bit more interest. Other things you can do is do like subsurface scattering or AO. We're not going to cover that right now, but that's pretty much it. Of course, you can set up lighting in here too, but this matte cap doesn't react to that, so I'm not going to worry about it. So you're just going to kind of get a nice little pose, set that up, and click BPR. It's going to go ahead and render. So you get this result. From here, what you want to do is go into your BPR render paths. You'll have these rendered out, so the shaded, depth, shadow, and mask. So you're just going to click on shaded, and I'm going to save this out. So tutorial renders. And then you're going to want to make a new folder for each one. So I'm going to put this one as 3/4, so 3.4. All right, so hit open. So that one's saved. Now just to click on this one, hit enter, enter, enter. Okay, so we're all done with ZBrush. Other than, let's say we want a side view, so click BPR. Now make sure everything is within the bounds of the document. So click that again. Same thing, so you click shaded, and we want to go to a new folder. So side. Okay, BPR, depth, shadow, mask. All right, so we're all done with ZBrush now. So we're going to jump over to Photoshop. And this is my document. I have it pretty wide, just so I can put multiple body shots or busts, whatever. So to start out, you're going to grab a 15% or 25% background. So I'm just going to go 15 because I like it nice and dark. And fill that in. And then the next one is, I usually grab like a paper texture or like some noise, something like that. And the reason why is that it breaks it up so you don't get weird lines when you web usually downgrades the quality a little bit, so it gives it banding. This kind of helps prevent that. So this is set on multiply. You can also do divide. Nothing too particular, just something kind of break up the background. Yeah, and then I set this to like 35%. So it's pretty minimal. You don't really notice it too much, but next thing I usually do is a little black bar, and this kind of pops out the character a little bit more from the background, gives it a little bit easier, I don't know, just looks a little bit nicer. So this is just a black at 35%. And then the last thing I'll do is I'll put a black text bar and some text, and just kind of what it is and my name. You can also put like your email or something like that, what it's from. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is you make a group. So we're gonna call this one front, or actually we're doing 3/4. So we do 3/4, and then you're gonna go. So we're gonna go photos. All right. So tutorial renders. So we're gonna go 3/4. Grab all these, drag them in. Hit enter, 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 enter. Sorry about that. And you're gonna rasterize these. All right. And then, so you have all these different ones. We're gonna drag these all into the group really quick. And then, so grab the mask. And then we're gonna have it point sample is the sample size and then tolerance of 0 and anti-alias. Now there's two ways you can do this. So you can just straight up delete it, and it looks like I have a little hole there. So I'm gonna grab that too. Oops, shift. Grab all that. And okay, so if you hit contiguous, then it should. No? Okay. Let's try that again. Yeah, I don't know. So usually, yep, there it goes. So now it's selecting in there, so that's contiguous will kind of like, or contiguous, it will select any of the color. So I have black selected. And then, so you get this result. Now, it kind of does a little bit of a weird effect around the edges. So sometimes you want to like go into here and do select, modify, expand by 1 pixel. And it'll kind of crop it a little bit, just depending on what you're doing. That'll be a good thing or a bad thing. So just kind of watch that. All right, so from here, you're just going to delete you're not going to use the mask, so just delete these. Boom, boom, boom. Close the mask. And you're all done with that now. And next what you're going to do is go into the depth, opacity. We're going to set this to overlay, and this is going to be 20%. Again, these are settings that I use. You can do whatever you want. I just found these to be pretty good. I set my shadows to be 80%, and I put this one on multiply, and this one is overlay. So this is just overlaying this one. So there you go. Kind of see how that looks. So that's the end result for there. From here, there's a couple things you can do. So you can press Control J, and I will duplicate that. I'm gonna hide this, and then I'm gonna merge all these. And what I'm gonna do with this is, it looks like it made kind of a weird shadow behind that. Whoops. So let's try this, merge. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Let's try this, merge visible. And turn these back on. Yeah, I don't know why it's still doing that. No big deal. Whoops. So we're gonna turn these off. select, expand by a pixel, delete. All right, so let's turn these back on. All right, so that's something I'm kind of trying to figure out a better way of doing, but you know, it works right now, so not too big of a deal. All right, so this is our like pre-render. It's all flattened. It looks nice. So you're just gonna hit Control J again, Control U, darken the object, and we're gonna put this behind our object. And then filter, blur, Gaussian blur. And this is how much your background's gonna blur. So this is kind of like the hard way of doing it. There's two ways to do this. The other way is you can do double click here and then go to outer glow. Sometimes that doesn't work well with these, so it just depends. Yeah, okay. So from here, what we're gonna do is this can be done depending on what you need. If you want to give it a little bit extra polish, something you can do is create a new layer above the render layer and right click on it, create clipping mask, and then grab a soft round brush and a dark color, and we're going to set this to multiply like that. Okay, and then you can darken up these arms or things you don't want to be in focus, so the ground up or whatever. Then you can do another layer. So we're going to do overlay. So cool. Click this one, hit overlay, and this time we're going to do white. So this will brighten areas. So give it a little bit less, and you want to put this above the shadow. So areas you want to bring focus to, so probably the head. Kind of cast a little bit of light on things. You can adjust shadows. You can give it a little bit of one-sided lighting. So you do that until you're happy with it, and you can repeat that and just create a set of characters. So you probably want to do like a 3/4, front, a side, and then you'd be pretty much done for that. So when you save these, you can save it as whatever you like. So I'm going to go in pictures, tutorial renders. So say base body sculpt, that's fine. And I like to save this as a template. It helps me remember things a little bit better. You can reuse the background, just replace the text. Makes it really, really quick when you want to just throw up a render. Let's see. So the other thing you can do is if it wants black and white, just drop the saturation and make it look like that. One last thing you should pay attention to if you're using a different material or whatever, throw on a black background, turn it to color. So down here. And this will basically make it a black and white image, and you can make sure that you're bringing focus to the areas you want without that color. And make sure it looks like it's popping. So you can adjust the background brightness or whatever to make sure it works. Pretty happy with this right now, so we're just going to hit File, Save. And of course we could do the other renders, but just to save on time, I'm going to skip those. So we already saved it as a PSD. So now what we're going to do is save it for web. So export as a PNG. Oops, save for web. So export, save for web. There we go. Okay, so the settings I use here, JPEG at 88 quality seems to be a pretty good result. Again, if you're getting a lot of like weird banding, like if I drop this down, see how it gets all weird blocky. Sometimes noise will help with that. So do 90 or 88, somewhere in there, and this will just reduce the file size to something pretty reasonable, and it will open up quickly in your portfolio. And click Save, and Pictures, so this PC Pictures, boom. All right, cool. So we save that. Now, when you upload this to something like Facebook or Workplace, something like that, it will still compress it quite a bit. So that's fine. It looks fine in the preview, but if someone wants to do a paint over and really start zooming in on it, like that, it gets a little bit blurry. So what you'll want to do is hit upload with ShareX. So this is a program you can download off the internet. All right, so this is what the website looks like. Whoops. Cool. So you hit download. Should be cool from there. So it'll auto load everything, I think. So you just hit upload with ShareX, and this will create a link. So on any web page, this will be the current link, and this will also create a copy. When you open up Photoshop, you can add it in really quickly. So hit Control V, and this will be your link. So when you upload, you can put this in the comments or whatever. Let's say you copy something else, like some text, this will be gone. So you won't be able to grab that anymore. So what you want to do is go over to ShareX, and you right click on it, and you go to history, and it'll bring up this nice little panel, and these are screenshots I've taken. So you click on that, and then you can hit copy URL, and you'll have that again. Yeah, so I think that covers pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. Let me know if this helped you. If you have any questions, just send me a message or just comment on the video, and we'll see if we can get that sorted out for you. But that's all for me today, so hope that helps you guys out. Yeah, catch you in the next video or tutorial or whatever. Thanks.